Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby was not filmed in front of a live studio audience. Oh, yeah. We're Bizak, baby.
I can't believe it. It's been way too long since we've been live streaming together. I'm really excited about it. I'm excited for the content we have tonight, but you all know that we have to start by which finger? You got to touch the tips. Come on, let's do it. There we go.
Boom.
Tips touched. Webby, what is Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby? I'm so confused. Is this the Eddie and Webby podcast?
Oh, man. No, it's not. We ended the Eddie and Webby podcast for those that aren't aware, so this is definitely not that. This is Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby. It's totally different. It's super raw. It's very unplanned pretty much for the most part. I mean, I don't even remember what we used to say about the show. It's been so long. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. We just have a lot of fun here and talk about whatever's on our mind. It's very uncensored, so you might want to plug your ears or cover your grandma's ears if you're in the same room. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, we might say words like butt or just butt. That's it. That's the only curse word we're going to say tonight. But anyway, I'm really excited. It's been a little while since we've live streamed. I think it's been since October of last year since we did a Dinking Around, right?
Yeah, it's been a very long time, like you said, since October. So 6 months ago was the last episode of Dinking Around that we've done. But at least there hasn't been much that we missed, though. Like the pickleball world has been pretty slow. Not many newsworthy things in the last 6 months, unless you count these things as newsworthy items, such as Simone Jardim announcing her retirement, Tom Dundon purchasing PPA, Pickleball Central, and PickleballTournaments.com. The PPA signed a bunch of top pros to the exclusive 3-year contracts. A falling out occurred between PPA and Major League Pickleball. APP and Major League Pickleball formed a partnership. All of Hollywood and every news publication jumped aboard the pickleball bandwagon. Michael Phelps and Larry Fitzgerald had some interesting exhibition pickleball matches. J.W. Johnson proved that Ben Johns is human and beatable and became the #1 rated men's singles player for a bit. The identities of Slim and Gritty of No Man's Land Pickleball got revealed. Gary Vaynerchuk became a Major League Pickleball team owner. A 71-year-old man got arrested on a felony charge for drawing pickleball marks on a gym floor. Ben Johns ended his partnership with Franklin and started a new one with Yola. And Ben Johns, Annalie Waters, and J.W. Johnson all got some triple crowns under their belt. But other than that, it's been very slow in the pickleball world in the last 6 months.
I love the rundown there. Yeah, there really hasn't been much going on. So, but I'm excited for tonight. We have 2 awesome guests that I'm really excited to be able to bring on in just a minute. And we're going to be doing a little bit of a Minto US Open powered by Margaritaville fantasy draft. I think, is that the right term, Webby? Is that what the kids are calling it these days?
Yeah, I think that is what the kids are calling it. A fantasy draft of the upcoming US Open pro pickleball stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Well, without further ado, why don't I go ahead and bring on our guests tonight here. We have the gentlemen who were anonymous up until recently, and that is No Man's Land Pickleball. We've got Jeremy Camazetto and Chris Ross, also known as Slim and Gritty. What's going on, guys?
Oh, not too much.
Gonna speak.
Yep.
Oh no, we're going to be doing this all day. But
it's all good. Don't worry about it. Feel free to talk over each other. Webby and I do it all the time, but
yeah.
I know sometimes it can feel awkward. What the heck happened on Facebook, guys? Did something happen on our Facebook live stream to where we were blocked because all of a sudden, nobody is watching? I don't know what the heck happened there.
We had a good amount of people watching, and then it just went kaput. So I don't know. I don't know what happened there, but I don't know. I hate Facebook. Well,
guys, if you're watching on Facebook and having issues, go over to YouTube. We constantly seem to be having issues on Facebook. But anyway, Slim. That's your name, but that's not your real name. Your real name is Jeremy, right? So can you talk about how that became your nickname?
We were coming up with nicknames, and I suggested Fat, and Chris wouldn't let me go with Fat because he said I needed to lose weight to be his actual pickleball partner. Not well, give or take, but. So he said you're Slim, but that's how I got the ironic name of Slim. despite definitely being the
we need to clarify this. This is not good. So we talked about this on Lauren McLaughlin's Pickleball After Dark podcast. So the real story's there, which is Jer he's lost probably 60 plus pounds in the past couple of years, pickleball related. And so Jer's like, I'm going to call myself fat. And I said, no. That's unless you can think of something better than slim, you're going to be slim. And so that's how that went.
Gotcha. Okay. And Chris, Gritty, is there an inside story there?
I think Gritty's just a funny kind of thing for me, just because I think Gritty's the term that's often used for the a lot of times certain types of position players in certain sports are often described as gritty. So I think it's just kind of funny from that standpoint. And I like to think I'm gritty as well in some of those ways, but that's debatable probably.
That's cool. And you know what? I think slim and gritty, it flows well off the tongue, similar to Eddie and Webby. So I definitely like that.
Doesn't flow.
I got
quite
a question
well
for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it doesn't rhyme, it doesn't flow quite as good, but it still flows good. But I do have a question. Like when you guys came out and decided to reveal your true identities, were you nervous about that? Were you kind of scared that it might kind of ruin the integrity of No Man's Land pickleball?
Jared, you want to go ahead?
I don't think we were at all concerned about it ruining the integrity of No Man's Land Pickleball. We'd always kind of written like we were writing it ourselves. So from that perspective, no, we definitely thought that a lot of the intrigue because people thought maybe we were pros or whatnot, wondered if people would keep kind of reading it after, and it seems that they have, so that's been pretty cool, but we weren't really worried about like the integrity or anything. Chris?
Yeah, I think that we always wrote with it in mind that our identities are going to come on at some point, so you better be able to stand behind what you write, even if we're anonymous at the time when we were writing it. And I think it's been cool that it just seems to have kept growing since we've come out. It's we actually had the reader level, the consistency just keeps growing, which is kind of surprising to us in a way. But so it's kind of cool to see that.
Nice. And be honest, is it true that Lauren totally blackmailed you guys and you pretty much had no choice and you had to reveal your identities when you did?
100%.
I figured.
I love it. That's great. You heard it here. Hey, we want to get into a few more questions, Webby, but it's really hard for me to ask them and converse with such a dry mouth. What should we do to fix that?
Oh man, I don't know about you, but I have a tasty beverage here that I would love to crack open and drink to wet the palate. So
I'm
going to go ahead and do that. Do you guys happen to have any beverages handy that you'd like to crack open?
We do.
Yeah, nice. We do.
Yeah.
What do we got here?
So mine is kind of symbolic. So a lot of people, we hadn't done Dinking around in 6 months, so people thought the show was dead. So I feel like this one's quite symbolic. Since we're kind of back from the dead, I'm going to be drinking Zombie Dust from Three Floyds Brewing. It's one of my favorites.
That's a good one. I brewed a clone of that one a long time ago. In fact, I think you were there with me when I did it. That's a fantastic beer. Let's go, Chris. What about you? What are you having?
I've got a Pilsner from not quite local place, but Fernie Brewing Company, which is it's local to our province in Canada, but not local to our city.
All right.
Nice.
I like it. And Jeremy, what about you?
I've got it's called the Kamloops Common Lager. It's from Red Collar Brewing, our local brewer pub right here in Kamloops. So it's just a nice, easy drinking lager. And I thought being that we're on the show, might as well represent the hometown. So
I like it.
Very nice. What about you, Eddie?
I heard that New Belgium was going to be represented at the US Open, and I love supporting breweries that support pickleball. So this is the Mothership Wit. Oh, shoot, green screen screw up here. Mothership Wit, which I have not had, but we definitely appreciate New Belgium coming into the pickleball world and helping to support the sport. So
Yeah,
cheers,
absolutely.
everybody.
Cheers.
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 Yeah.
Side note about this zombie dust beer. I used to only be able to get it like when I would go to the Chicago area. It didn't used to be distributed in Michigan. It just recently started getting distributed here, and it's very easy to find now, and I'm very happy about that fact.
Yeah, people were complaining about that for quite a while because Three Floyds had quite the following, and people would actually drive to Indiana in order to be able to buy it from Michigan. That's how much their Gumball Head was one I know that everybody was going crazy about. So good brewery. All right, so I know that you guys before it seems like every tournament, and right now we have pretty much tournaments like every weekend. It seems like you guys do a fantasy draft. Can you talk about like whose idea that was and how you came up with it and why you started it?
Jared, I think it was my idea.
Go ahead.
I think so. We were, I mean, again, of course, we're obsessed, and we were always watching tournaments and texting with each other, and we see each other all the time. So we were talking about it, and there's a lot of tournaments, and we wanted to find a way to make it more interesting for ourselves to watch. And so I floated the idea. This was before NML to Jared, just about doing a fantasy draft type thing where we'd do it and we'd put $10 a week on it, and or $10 a tournament. And so the first couple weren't exactly what we have now, but we eventually just transitioned this. I think Jared had the idea to make the fantasy draft previews our preview for tournaments. And so basically we draft our teams. Each of us have 3 people from the 5 pro brackets, the doubles, singles, and mixed. And we draft it. And so there's 15 teams or players on each of our sides, 3 from each division. And gold, you get 3 points if one of your team players gets a gold, 2 for a silver, and then 1 for a bronze. And the most cumulative points at the end of the week gets the win for the week.
That's cool. So do you guys have like an ongoing record? Who has more wins, more losses? Like where are you
Great
guys
question. Great question.
Jared will gladly say that I think he ended up the year last year up 4 up, and I think he's up 6 up on me on the year currently. So it's been a rough go for me, but we're figuring it out. We're figuring it out.
All right. So,
He
Jeremy,
hopes.
tell it like why do you think you've been so dominant, Jeremy? What is it that you possess?
Big brain. No, probably a lot of luck, but so far it's stayed with me. So we're just hoping to keep it rolling this week, Eddie. But it's been good so far.
There was actually something that probably took me too long to figure out. We talked about this last week before we did our draft, and there's something that is probably now even the playing field a bit that I took too long to figure out.
Yeah.
So, Jer, bigger brain.
Depth of field really makes a big difference.
Well, I hope we can keep that streak going tonight, Jeremy, because you and I are going to be teaming up. We're going to be doing a little bit of a team-based fantasy draft tonight, and I'm really excited to be able to get into it. And basically, what we want to be able to do is we want to follow along with your system, right? And so what we're going to be doing is Jeremy and I are going to be teaming up. Webby and Chris are going to be teaming up, and we're going to be having a joint fantasy draft. And I've heard that no holds barred, trash talking encouraged, and even discussions and disagreements within each other's team is going to be not only acceptable but encouraged. Is that correct?
100%.
Awesome.
Yep.
Nice.
All right. Well, as I mentioned before, it is going to be Slim and Eddie versus Gritty and Webby for this event here. And Webby, I think you have like a very unique way that has never been done before of trying to determine who gets to go first. Is that correct?
I do. It's very state of the art, so get ready for this. Basically, I've got a piece of paper here, and there's a number, either 1 or 2, not unlike pickleball tournaments to determine who will serve first. So I say, Slim, you go ahead and pick number 1 or number 2, and I will reveal what number is on the paper.
I'll go with 2.
And the number is
Oh, that's actually
number
too bad.
2. You are correct.
So is it advantageous to go first? I mean, it seems like because I
think
know that
this week we do want that first pick.
Okay.
Sometimes there can be an advantageous to go second, but what do you think, Eddie? Do we want the first pick?
I think we should go for it. I think that sounds like a plan, and we'll be kind of explaining the rules as we go through this, guys. It'll become pretty self-aware. And if you have any comments about our picks or any recommendations as we're going through this, please throw it in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you guys are thinking. But it sounds like, Jeremy, you actually have a top pick in mind to go first. Is that true?
I do. I'll see it. We got to come to a conclusion here, Eddie. It might not be where people think I'm going, but I'm kind of inclined to actually go women's doubles with Callie and Lucy with no Waters this week. But it's a little interesting not to be going Ben Johns, but I think that competition's getting steeper. And I think with some different women's teams this week that Callie and Lucy look dominant.
Yeah, that was definitely at the top of my list for first round picks as well. I agree with you. Let's talk about the people that we know are not at the event. The Waters are not at the event. Jade DeVilliers is not at the event. And I'm blanking. Who else isn't going to be there?
I actually didn't think there was anyone else notable. I
think those are the big names for sure.
All right. So I think I would be I think I would definitely be aligned with you that would probably be a great pick. No argument for me there. So we are going to be going with Callie Smith, Lucy Kovalova for, this is going to be challenging.
Darren and I like to joke that we have a lot of groupthink between us, and we probably do, which is not always the best probably for the blog, but that is also the team that I would have had number 1 as well.
All right. Well, there we go. So since we have our first pick now determined, Gritty, Webby, you guys have 2 picks now. Is that right?
That's correct. So Webby, did you have an idea of where you wanted to go? And then we can discuss.
Let's see here.
If we're looking at this, if we're looking at the top other 4 divisions, which do you think is the best chance? Who's the number 1 person that's going to come out with a gold, or the number 1 team out of the other 4 divisions?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like either men's doubles or men's singles should be what we choose first. What's your? I'm curious, like how your mindset goes at this time, at this point. Like, what would your selection be and why?
Well, I guess we have 2 picks, so it doesn't really matter. I have Catherine as Catherine because no Anna Lee. Catherine's the only one who's been able to really touch Anna Lee. She hasn't beaten her this year, but Leia Jansen hasn't been able to beat Catherine, and Catherine's been pretty solid throughout the year. So that's who I had, but Ben and Colin were the other team. I worry with Ben. I think the thing that's also forgot with the US Open is that we got a Franklin ball here, which does change things. I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing for Ben, who likes to play a lot of cat and mouse, but we can go Ben and Colin here if you want to do that. And then have to agree to another pick.
Yeah, I'm good with Ben and Colin. Plus, Ben spent the last couple years talking about how the Franklin ball is the superior ball. So
will be interesting to see if we continue to hear that.
Right?
I highly doubt it.
There's certain pros who actually seem to legitimately think it's better, but I question, and who are not Franklin sponsored necessarily. But okay, Ben and Colin, and I'll give you the deciding one, Webby. It's either Ben or Catherine here. Ben, there's just, I guess I thought there's more competition on that men's singles field. You got JW, who's given him trouble. I think that's the main one. Whereas Catherine hasn't seen trouble from anyone else, really.
Yeah, I feel like maybe a few months ago, Ben in singles would have been the obvious choice, but like you said, JW has been he's been pretty solid lately. He's beaten Ben lately. So I do think I would go with Catherine next. Catherine in women's singles.
All right, we'll go with Catherine then.
Good picks. They're wrong, but they're good.
Whoa. Already it's starting.
I like it. I like it.
All right. So,
alrighty. And,
yeah, go ahead, Jeremy.
oh, I was just going to ask where you were looking to go, Eddie.
Okay. So here's where I want to go. And you got to remember, this is in Naples, Florida, where it's high heat and high humidity, which a lot of people, especially from the north, unless they come down plenty, far in advance, they have a really hard time adjusting, especially in singles. And that's why I think, because you guys already picked Catherine, who I think would have been the only one that would have competed me with this here. And guys, I'm just telling you, I'm throwing you a major one here. I'm going to go with Simone for singles. And hear me out. If it depends on the seeding of the bracket, but if Catherine is on the opposite end of it, I think Catherine is going to sweep all the way until the gold medal match, and I think it's going to be up against Simone, and I think Simone is going to win. And the only reason being is because I think that there is some sort of I don't want to say mental block, but something that Catherine has for Simone where she's able to come out on top of a lot of these matches. And I will tell you this, I know that Simone was injured, and I think last year's US Open was when her injury started to affect her gameplay. But now she's coming back. It's her last year. It's her last tournament that she's planning on playing singles at. She's used to this heat and humidity. She is in some of the best shape I've seen her in a while. And if that injury doesn't affect her, I think she is going to take it. Jeremy, what do you have to say about that?
I think that we can get Simone slightly later, unless Webby throws us for a loop, because I think Chris is going to have her slightly down. I was actually looking Simone, but I was looking at the Simone and Ben rekindling partnership. I actually quite like them this week, as long as Ben's a little more motivated than the last couple times he played with Simone last year. And I think we actually are going to get a motivated Ben who's wanting to show people that he can win without Anna Lee. And Simone has been getting good mixed results playing with JW and Dylan this year. So I kind of like actually going Ben and Simone. We get 2 picks. I have a feeling I can get you on board with that one, because I know Simone's your girl. I like it. I kind of want to wait and see if we can get Simone, give them 2 picks, because I don't think Chris is going to be wanting to grab her yet. So I kind of would like to almost go Simone or Ben and Simone, and then I think we should try to look at taking a men's singles pick here. You're trying to maximize the points. So you want to try to get a gold medal pick here. And I would lean Ben Johns, but that's going against my number 1 fantasy rule, which has made me a lot of money, and that's always draft J.W. Johnson. But I would lean with Ben and Simone and Ben, but I'll let you make the picks here, Eddie. So if you want to go Simone, we can also go there. But
no, I'm
feeling
fine.
Chris is going to talk.
Yeah, so go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I have a feeling that Gritty there's going to talk Webby out of any Simone pick in the next 2. So I think we can get her the next go around.
Okay, I will agree with you, Ben and Simone. That was going to be my next pick on there. So if we're good with that, I think I want to double down on JW here and pick him for men's singles.
Let's do it.
I know that Ben has recently moved to Austin, so he's used to playing in different weather, but it's still not the same heat and humidity that you have here in Southwest Florida. I think JW is just he's ready for his first big US Open gold medal here in that.
I love the JW pick. I've been picking JW and betting on him, and he seldom lets me down. So let's do it. I love it.
All right, good stuff.
All right.
That's our two, yeah.
So we're through 5, which means things can get a little bit different here. But Webby, what are you thinking here?
For me, the obvious choice at this point is to go with Ben in men's singles.
I would agree with that. I think that's a very easy choice at this point. I don't think JW is necessarily a bad pick. I had Ben slightly ahead, but I think you can't leave Ben off at this point.
As always, gritty, honestly, not respecting JW.
No, I think JW is awesome. I think that's a great pick. However, I do think Slim and Eddie fell for our trap and let us get some great picks before choosing Ben in singles. So thank you guys.
Yeah, that worked out great for us. I think we could go a number of different places next. So I think you could go. Yeah, I think you could go a few places here. Did you have a lean?
I don't have nothing stood out to me huge right now. I'm curious to see what you would do next, and I'll let you know if I totally agree or if I have any other ideas.
I don't think I feel super strongly about it. I had Leia here because the women's singles field, there to Jared's point about I don't believe that. I worry that Simone's going to drop out actually, but and withdraw. I don't know if she will play. I mean, it's the first day, so maybe she will, and there's a few days in between. But I just think that Leia, they've been 1, 2, 3, Annalie, Catherine, Leia. And so if you don't have Annalie in that field, you've got a pretty good lock at silver probably. Whereas Riley and Matt, the women's doubles is, I think for second could be a bit up in the air. Mixed doubles is all over the place. So that's why I sort of had Leia there. Yeah. But I could be talked into any one of those other fields as well.
Yeah, so to be honest, I do like the Leia pick. I feel like I'm torn for our next choice between Leia for singles or the let's see here. Yeah, I think Leia. Let's go with Leia for singles.
Okay, we'll go with Leia Jansen.
I feel more confident about that than any of the other options that I would have selected at this point.
It's not a bad pick. I know Leia likes to come down to Naples to get time in, especially in the winter. So she's used to this area. She's used to East Naples. I think it's a solid pick.
Okay, you guys are up with 2.
All right.
Where are you looking, Eddie?
I think we gotta break into men's doubles here. And there's a lot of different directions that we could definitely go with this, but I'm thinking we're going to see Matt and Riley, I believe, in the finals. So that would be my pick.
That's who I had too. So I think we should lock that one in. I like it.
Yeah. My second would have been, well, actually, I'm not going to say that because I don't want to give them.
Oh, no, we get enough. Oh, yeah. Don't give them in men's doubles. Don't give them any ideas. But yeah.
The people want the content. Come on.
Right?
No. We're not giving you any tips. And then where are you looking on our second pick here, Eddie?
Well, I'm kind of all over the place right now. I'm scared to jump into mixed doubles yet, just because it's so huge, and I don't know. We got Ben and Simone already. What do you think?
I really think we need to go into women's doubles or mixed, and both of them scared me a bit. Those were the 2 draws that I really wasn't sure about, but I kind of feel like we've got to make a pick in one of those 2. I think there's some value out there, but I don't have a strong number 2 team in either of those, but
So if we look at the history of the US Open, right, although the playing field has changed in the last year a lot, and definitely in the last 3, Matt and Lucy consistently are on championship court. That would be my go-to if we had to make another pick for mixed. What do you think?
That's who I kind of have here. So if you're good with it, I think we go with it until somebody shows that they've had a bit of a slow start to this year.
Mm-hmm.
And that they have potential to, even win it this year. So I like them at this pick.
Cool. Great. Love it.
Alrighty.
Uh-oh. Chris, we lost your audio there.
Well, I had my mic on mute. That's embarrassing. I was just saying I thought it's a good pick. You go with the proven team over the when there's not established mixed teams outside. I guess Callie and AJ are somewhat established at this point, but not. They've had one result really this year. Okay, so yeah, we can go a bunch of different places here. Webby, like we don't have a mixed team. Well, I think, the women's doubles, I struggled with figuring out the women's doubles field 2 to 4. There's a number of places we could go here. We don't have a women's, we don't have a mixed team. Any thoughts?
Yeah, so I feel like mixed. Should I say I'm choosing between. I'm trying to figure out if I think we should go women's doubles or mixed doubles. I do have who I think would be my pick for first in both of those with who is currently left. Which area you think I should give my my perspective on?
Give it for either. We're a more transparent group over here.
Okay. I think for mixed, I think I would go with Matt and Lucy.
No, they picked Matt and Lucy, so we can't go with them.
Oh my God! I'm sorry. I'm a noob here. Man, what a fool! Very embarrassing.
Embarrassing as well. Almost as embarrassing as a mic on mute.
Right?
Not as close though.
So, oh man, that threw me for a loop.
I guess, for mixed, for mixed, I have Callie and AJ as the next team. For women's, a second team. The thing is, there's no. I have Catherine and Leia, but you've got. I think the Kawamoto's super underrated, and you've got Simone and Lauren as well. Like any of those teams could be the second women's team. I think.
Yeah.
I worry that the Kawamotos with a Franklin ball don't have the weapons, but I love them as a team together. I could go. Yeah.
So of the teams that you mentioned, the one that speaks to me the most at the moment is the team of Catherine and Leia for women's doubles.
Yeah, that's who I had there. So why don't we go with them at that spot?
I like it.
Okay, so we'll go Catherine and Leia.
Which real quick, guys, have they actually played? I know that they're going to be playing going forward right after the kind of breakup between Jesse and Catherine, but have they actually had success together yet?
No, they played Red Rock together. That was the first tournament with the very quick breakup between Catherine and Jesse. Is Jer frozen?
I think he might be again.
You guys lose your next pick for that rookie move.
I think so. I think what Jer was saying is that they played Red Rock together. And they played the Waters to 3 games, but there's Jer, he's back. And they played the Waters to 3 games. They lost, but they did not get a podium there. I think just they have the most theoretical potential there. Catherine is so steady, and Leia's got a lot of weapons there. So I like them as a team.
Okay.
Yeah, I do too.
So then we got one more pick here. So I guess we can either go mixed. You've got Callie and AJ, Catherine, Tyson. I know Lindsay and Riley are there. Lindsay and Riley would be higher if Lindsay hadn't had a baby within the last month. That I can't imagine how tough that must be, but she's done it before and done really well.
Yeah.
And then, and I guess you could go even, Tyson's been a rock in singles this year. So we're looking at, we're past 10 teams. So you're sort of looking at what you're looking at a bronze, but maybe upside and seeding dependent as well on these. So what do you think?
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm struggling a little bit with this one, but I think I would go with Tyson's team for mixed.
Okay, yeah, I can get on board with that. Catherine and Tyson.
Yeah, I like both of them a lot. I think they could have some good success here. So I feel pretty good about that choice.
Yeah, I like it. Catherine's so solid in mixed, and I think Tyson is underrated in mixed to a degree. So let's go with Catherine and Tyson then.
All right,
let's
sorry,
do
guys,
it.
My camera froze up. I don't know. Look at the image on the screen. What in the world is that?
Amateurs, I'm telling you. Amateurs over on that team.
I think we deserve an extra pick, don't we?
We do. We really do.
You need the extra pick. You need the
I need
extra
it.
Oh, that's hilarious. All right. Well, go ahead, Jeremy.
I was just going to ask, where are we looking, Eddie?
I mean, we do not have any women's singles yet. I think you know who my pick would be for there. But that's the direction I'm going in here.
All right. I am good with that. I am almost tempted to I feel like we could just steal Simone, but you know what? We'll just lock it in. We can take Simone here. So we'll take Simone. If she's healthy, I think we're getting great value. I know she's been training singles, she says, so I think that's good. All right, and then we've got one more pick. Where are you looking?
Well, I could really go honestly, Leia and Catherine was my next pick. That's the direction I wanted to be able to go. So since that's not an option anymore, I'm kind of scratching my head here, wondering
did we break your heart, Eddie, with 3 Catherine Parento picks on our team?
Well, I mean, that's the thing is Catherine's had success at the US Open. I mean, her and Callie last year did absolutely incredible job. So this is her home. She lives in Naples now. So I think you
Canadian Catherine Parento, just FYI.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, I would definitely bet on her. The one thing that I don't see on our side here is, I guess we do. We have Callie Smith in women's doubles. I think she's always very reliable for some hardware.
I feel good about our Callie and Lucy pick there. Mm-hmm. I am wondering if we want to look at Tython Mcguffin. He's basically been a silver machine this year. So at this point in the draft, getting him with the third pick, like the third man singles player, seems like pretty good value. And he always is usually in that finals match at the US Open. So I kind of like, are you still there, Eddie?
Yeah, I'm here. Don't you worry. I'm still
okay.
Here.
Can't see you, but that's good.
Amateurs.
So I kind of like looking at Tython Mcguffin there, but I am also open to other suggestions as well.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, we know it's going to come down to Tyson, Ben, and JW, right? I mean, that might not be the top 3, but we know that at least 2 of the 3 are going to be medaling. So I think it would be good to also lock in Tyson.
All right. How about we go with Tyson then?
All right. That sounds good. And as you guys are figuring out your next couple picks, I'm going to figure out what's going on with my camera. So go ahead.
I'll admit
Go ahead.
I was going to I might be saying the same thing you are, but I'll admit I'm kind of jealous of the Tython Mcguffin singles pick. I think that's a very solid pick. That's who I was going to go with next. If it wasn't already, if they didn't select him next, that's who I was going to suggest next for sure.
Me too, Webby. We're on the same page, which might not be a good thing for you, Webby, but we are on the same page.
Right.
So I guess my thought here is I like AJ and Callie here in this weird mixed field where you've got a bunch of, people who haven't been playing a ton together, and they've been playing together, but I think you get a little inconsistency with them, but I could also see them. I don't think it's far-fetched to say that they could win a gold medal too.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you?
I do think that could be a solid pick. I do have a good feeling about that team. One thing that has been on my mind is for men's singles. What are you thinking about Zane Navratil? How do you think he stands up in this lineup we got here?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have. I think Zane is. Sorry, this is classic Chris. Is Zane in the field?
Yes.
He is, okay. Classic me. I miss Zane somehow. That's usually once a draft I miss someone.
I'm surprised that he hasn't come up with that. To be honest with you, I for sure thought he would have come up by this point.
Yeah,
he's somebody I'm looking at for singles right now.
Yeah, I could be on board with Zane for singles here. I do worry, a guy, again, Franklin sponsored, but probably the Franklin Ball and Naples does not favor a guy who wants to get juice on his serve and wants to get he's just mostly ground strokes. But I mean, I like Zane here as well. I think Zane is he's the fourth guy in this field probably. So he definitely is, I think, actually.
And so I see that Kyle Solenko is tuning in, and as he pointed out, the spin serve is going to be legal at this tournament. So
yeah,
he does have that going for him.
Yeah, again, I think neutralized a little bit by the heat and the Franklin Ball, but still he does have that going for him, which outside of Johnson Cola, no one really has going for them in this field. So yeah, do you want to go with Zane here then?
I would be totally good with that choice if you're feeling good enough for that for the next one. I'm good with it.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let's lock it in. We'll go with Zane Navratil in singles.
Did you guys make a pick before when I was fixing my camera?
No, we didn't.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Oh, you took AJ and Callie, didn't you?
No, we didn't take AJ and Callie. We discussed it.
Yeah, we discussed them, but we did not pick them yet. And,
okay, I thought you'd lock that in.
Did not lock that in, but I'm not against doing that for our next one if you're good with that.
Yeah, yeah. Why don't we do that? We'll lock that in.
I like it.
That would have probably been one of my next picks as well.
Yeah, one thing we were talking about when you first started dealing with your technical difficulties was the your Tython Mcguffin selection. That was we agreed that was a very solid choice.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because there's a lot of names that have been synonymous with the US Open for a long time, right? Kyle Yates, Simone, and then Ben started to come in, Matt and Lucy, but there's so much. It's almost like you kind of have to question a little bit. Are there others who are going to come up and surprise us? I think there's going to be some wild cards that we should be looking at here too. So I don't know, Jeremy, what are you thinking here?
I've got a men's doubles team and a women's singles player kind of on my radar right now, but I'm not sure where you're looking at. So
well, the one I have highlighted here for men's doubles, is that who you're thinking of?
Who do you have highlighted?
Adam and Deckel.
I have Adam and Deckel, but I actually had another team slightly ahead of them. I'm not sure, but it's only because of I always bet on JW, and I actually kind of like the fit of Eden Lika, who is actually, I think, underrated as one of the better right side players in the game. I think he and playing with JW, who I think is the second best men's doubles player, is a supernatural and good fit. I, until a few weeks ago, would have had Adam and Deckel ahead, but JW has been consistently coming out ahead of Adam and Deckel, and I'm actually a little worried about Adam Stone's results this year. They have not been, by his by most, he's got a number of silvers with Deckel, so this isn't to say, he's awful, but by the standard.
Well, why do you hate Adam Stone? Why do you hate Adam Stone, Jer?
I think his lobs aren't great. No, his lobs are great. He has made it clear that should not talk bad about his lobs. Can talk bad about other things. So, but I really like the JW and Eden Lika pick. But I can be talked into Adam and Deckel, but I would lean JW and Eden.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think JW and Eden could be well. You're right. Eden he's such a consistent right side player. You combine that with the power and the aggressiveness of JW. I think they can do something. My only concern with them is I don't know that I've ever actually seen them play together before. But here's the thing. I think you can take JW and partner him with me, and we could probably make it at least 1 or 2 rounds in the pro draw. So
I'm taking you 2 rounds at least, Eddie. JW's won with a lot of different players this year, so yeah, I'll let you make the call there. I'm good with either of those teams, but
no, that is true.
Decide.
I did hang out with Adam a little bit today. When we checked in at the US Open, he did seem good. He did seem strong, positive. So I do think that Adam and Deckel is a good bet, but again, we got to throw some wild cards in here, right? If JW and Eden make it, that's gonna ruffle some feathers, right? And so I think it's good to have some of those in our draw, in our bracket. So I think we should do that.
All right, well, let's go with it.
All right, and then
of course, Jared and I were on the same page on that one. I also have Eden or Eden, however you pronounce his name, ahead of Adam and Deckel by 1. But the previous silver medalists, I guess, last year, Adam and Deckel.
Yep, and they played lights out, incredible during those matches. It was insane to watch. So, yeah, I think we flip a coin, and it's 2 decent picks. You were saying next women's pro singles. Were you looking at the Callie Smith? Was that where you were thinking?
I was actually looking at the Florida girl, the newcomer, Anna Bright. I do think that playing in Florida, it matters. She's used to playing in Florida. She is getting stronger every single week. She's only been playing pro for 2 months, but her results get better every week. And it was a highly contested match, but she did beat Callie Smith in the bronze medal match in Red Rock. So I was looking Anna, but that's another one where I literally have them right beside each other on my board and could be talk. So if you have an argument for Callie, I am also eyes and ears open to that as well.
Yeah, so I don't disagree with you. I think Anna Bright is gonna impress some people. I think what her and Georgia Johnson were able to do at that Punta Gorda event that you guys were actually at when they took out Simone and Corinne, it reminded me of 4 years ago or whenever it was when the Waters came into the scene and they took out Simone and Corinne at her Florida Grand Slam tournament, or 3 years ago. Very similar. She came out, she's aggressive, she's doing stuff. And I do agree that her singles game is solid. I'm still going to put my money on in this situation, the one that has more of a track record, a little bit of a longer history, and has the experience of playing in and winning in big venues with a lot of eyes, a lot of noise, a lot of TV coverage, and can handle that pressure. And that's what I think Callie Smith is. I'm not saying that Anna Bright can't. She might be able to. We just haven't really seen that level yet that you experience at the US Open.
Fair enough. We'll go with Callie Smith.
Awesome.
That, as I said, that was a real kind of another one of those toss-ups on my board. And I've always bet on Anna, despite the fact she unfollowed us on our social media. But talk about handling the limelight. But I've forgiven her. Still bet on her, but she unfollowed it. She couldn't take gritty takes. So.
We still believe. So, Webby, I think that the spot to go here is women's doubles. I am open to either team. I have two teams. I have the Kawamotos and Simone and Lauren Stratman. I can go either way on that one.
Okay.
That's sort of what I was thinking, but what are you thinking?
Yeah, I do feel those are my top two choices of what's left of the women's doubles teams. I'm not. Yeah, that's a tough one for me. I'm not totally sold either way. Like neither one of them stand out to me as like a better choice over the other. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I think either is a good choice. I don't have a preference between those two, to be honest.
Well, if you don't have a preference, I mean, we have other places we could go. They were talking about Anna. I've Anna in this spot, or Declan Adam. I think those are the four teams I'd be looking at, or four teams / players that I'd be looking at. So, and really could go any way on that.
Yeah, and I was thinking to myself, if they didn't pick Callie for women's singles, that Anna Bright is who I would go with. So I would feel good about choosing Anna for singles. I don't know if you like that enough to be our next pick or not, but
yeah, I'm on board with that for sure.
Okay,
I'm on board.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, she's getting. I agree with Jer. She's getting better every week, and she's figuring out how to get comfortable at the net in singles, which is so important, I think. And I think more and more women, got to focus on getting more comfortable at the net. Rachel James did really well last week in the APP, and she was at the net, and Anna's figuring it out, it looks like. We have another pick, though.
We do.
Where are you looking here?
I do like the pick of Deckelbar and Adam Stone for men's doubles. I would be good with that being our next pick.
I'm good with going there as well. So why don't we go with Declan Adam, the old stalwarts?
Yep.
Awesome. So I want to make a play for something here, Jeremy, and that is for Andrea Koop, Irina Terashenko. Irina is no stranger to the stage at the US Open. Andrea Koop, I feel like, has shown that she belongs in the top 10, if not 5, women's players, depending on which tournament series you're looking at. I know that they've been friends for quite a long time. They've played together a lot. They haven't had a ton of success. I believe Chicago Open, they medaled last year together, and I think there was a tournament recently within the last 6 or 7 months as well. So I would be very comfortable putting them in our women's doubles.
I actually had that team. I was going to suggest it, so I really like that team. So let's lock that one in. I am always a lot higher on Andrea Koop than Gritty. He made a bit of a face. I think that she's actually one of the more talented women out there. And Irina, I was really down on last year, but she's had a resurgence, especially at the end of 2021 and the start of 2022. So I feel good about that pick.
Okay.
I want to say something.
And also, we were talking.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, like, with Andrea Koop, I agree. Like, one of the reasons I think she's so great is because she plays with a different partner almost every single tournament, but she consistently makes her way onto the medal stand. I mean, that's pretty damn impressive right there, if you ask me.
I think that's a great point.
Agreed. Also, we were talking earlier about names that aren't here and newcomers. One name actually I'm disappointed isn't here looking at women's singles is Paris Todd. I would have liked to have seen her in this field. She's, along with Anna, another woman who is really kind of every week we see her improving. So it would have been fun to see her in this field as well.
Yeah, I think she's so new that she probably wasn't even thinking about registering for US Open in time. Anna's at least been playing a little bit longer and is in Florida, but that's my guess. But Paris is really, really good.
That's probably right.
Selenko just commented, said, Sleepers men's team, Tyson and Lug won last summer using Franklin ball at USAP Newport. So I didn't really have them up there for me, but
Yeah, I actually do think that Tyler is a more natural partner for Tyson than he and Jay, but they could be a bit of a sleeper, but I didn't
Why do you
quite
why do
have
you think
them
that?
here.
Why do you think they're a
Why
more
do I
natural
think
partnership?
I think there's an obvious left and right side player with it. Tyler, I think Tyson likes to play the left side, but often is the right side player. But Tyler can play obviously is the right side player, being left handed. And I think that they kind of looked at Newport last year, at least like they had figured out how they wanted to play, where Tyson and Jay have just never looked natural this year, despite battling back for some bronzes.
Yeah, fair. I was just curious.
I kind of am looking, Eddie, at do we want to go back into the women's doubles? But Chris has been talking about the Kawamotos, but I'm kind of wondering if we want to go with in the women's doubles, Simone and Lucy. Or Simone and Lauren. Sorry,
Yep.
I think that is a natural kind of fit there. Lauren's got a lot of power. Simone's going to bring that consistency, and I think that's a tough team for people to play this weekend. I think they could really surprise some people. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that team in the final, depending on how the draw breaks.
yeah, I totally agree with you. And I mean, there's no doubt that Simone is one of my most favorite people in the world, and I think she's incredible. But she also has this ability to mentally motivate and help her partners. And I know that Lauren is really tough on herself, probably to her detriment in certain situations. And maybe Simone has that magic formula to help bring her out of that. And really, I mean, when Lauren Stratman's at her best, she's unstoppable. So you combine that, I totally agree. I think they're a great pick.
All right, let's go with that.
I like it.
So Webby, just to give on the piece of the drafting, now that their team is filled up on the women's doubles, we can wait and fill up other spots where they can still fill up their teams and just leave the women's doubles for now. And then we'll go elsewhere and then come back because they can't make any more women's doubles picks. So we can't get scooped at this point.
Makes sense. Yep. Makes total sense.
So with that, we have a couple slots open in mixed, and then we've got slots open in men's singles and men's doubles. Did you have any teams that spoke to you right now?
So what are your thoughts on Kyle Solenko's message about Tyson and Leung being a sleeper team to look out for?
Yeah, I think they're right on the border of a draftable team here. Like, I think once you're getting into these, I think the men's field outside of 1 and 2 is actually could be pretty wide open. So they're just outside of my board, but I also think that they're definitely draftable in this field for sure.
And so, somebody else that stands out to me right now, kind of in the back of my mind, and maybe a surprising pick, but John Sincola for singles. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I like John. John he had the big win, I think, at the first or second APP of the year. I forget. It was the one at Bellbank. I forget if that was Legacy, I guess, not Boca, or not Legacy. It was something else. Jared would remember. I tend to favor. Federico Staxford is the guy I would have ahead of Sincola here. Just he's been uber consistent over the last while, but I think it's close between Fed and Sincola. So I could be definitely talked into Sincola here.
Okay. Oh man, I'm not I'm not like super passionate. I mean, like it's not something where like I want to fight you for like saying, yeah, we got to pick John Sincola. But so I don't know. I'm not. Yeah, that's a tough one for me.
Has Staxrud done anything outside of APP and smaller events? Has he done anything at the PPA?
I don't think he's really. I think he played maybe in Simone's, but it looks like he is registering going forward. He seems, after his recent success, to be going all in on the pickleball. So I would expect to see him going forward, but limited in PPAs so far.
Yeah, we just haven't had the results to see, but he pushed JW Johnson in a couple of matches, which is what. And he beat Sincola the last time out. It wasn't a romp or anything. I think it was 15-10, 15-11. You could, I think with Sincola's got that serve that he can use at the US Open as well. Do you want to go with Sincola, Webby?
I think I'm leaning a little bit more towards Sincola. I think I am.
Okay. All right. Let's go John Sincola here. John Sincola. And then we still have one more pick. So anything else speaking to you here?
So what do you think? Should we go with Riley and Lindsay for mixed? I know like that's kind of a gamble just because Lindsay's been out of the game for a bit, but man, when they're on, they're on. So it's like, man, I'm so torn on that one.
Yeah, they're actually my next team on my board, so I'm happy to go with them. I remember watching the US Open last year. I think it was terribly windy. Eddie, you were probably there, so you'd probably remember. And you watch those two, and they're resetting balls in the wind, and you're just trying to figure out how the hell they're doing that. So I'm happy to go with Lindsay and Riley here.
Okay, let's do it.
Lock it in.
I like it. All right, we are up.
And I think the only spot we don't have both is men's doubles. Is we both have open. Is that right?
So men's. Yes.
No, men's. Or what do you have for mixed? No.
Oh, you
are full and mixed.
Right.
All right. So we should probably pick a men's doubles teams first here, Eddie.
Well, I mean, a couple that are sticking out, obviously Tyler and Tyson, AJ and Thomas, they can surprise us. I mean, Zane and Althoff, they seem to make their way to the medal stand. Well, at least they have.
Yeah, AJ and Thomas, obviously there's Tyler and Tython. The other team that kind of actually stands out to me a bit is Andre Deescu and Patrick Smith. I just really like how that team fits together again. Pat is such a strong right side player, and Andre can cut, he's big, he's long, he covers the court well, but obviously also AJ and Thomas are strong, but I could go in a lot of different directions on this pick. So if you have any strong feelings, I am all ears. But
yeah, I mean, I do think that Pat Smith, Andre Deescu would probably be higher up just from my gut reaction. So, I don't know that I've ever seen them play together before. They can both be very fiery, but they're also very consistent and powerful. So, yeah, that would be my pick. What do you think?
I like it. I think it's I think there's high upside, low floor sort of. I could see them having a tough day, but they also could, really, if they're both on, I really like the potential there. So let's do it.
All right. I like that. Let's see.
All right, and then we can go wherever we want, but we have a hole now because we're all filled in the other spots. So are there any names of teams jumping out to you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Vivian and Deckel, they've had some incredible success. They play together a lot down in Dreamland.
Yeah.
I honestly, I feel like the only times they haven't done incredibly well was when maybe Vivian was not feeling well, but that was also some APP events, right? So, you throw in a different ball, you throw in a different bracket. It might be tougher. JW and Irina stick out to me. I think that they could probably do some things, as well as Zane and Andrea.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's a bunch of teams.
Those were all the kind of the teams I was looking at there in mixed. I think I would lean Vivian and Deckel. You're right. They haven't maybe shown it against the best competition, but they have, other than when, like Vivian was sick or injured, basically won. So I think the potential's there. Deckel always scares me in mixed. His results are never quite as good as I think they're going to be, but I kind of like them. Obviously, I'm always big on JW, but Irina's mixed results haven't been quite as strong. So I kind of like going Vivian and Deckel, but I'll let you make the call. But I like that pick.
Yeah,
Vivian and Deckel.
I think that one is going to do well. And Vivian, I mean, she used to live down here for a very long time, so she's used to the weather, and so I think it's
yeah.
Did you guys mention Jesse and Tyler as a possibility?
We didn't actually.
I think that's
probably deserve a mention.
Yeah, I think even Leia and Thomas deserve a mention. I think there's just a bunch of teams, but Jesse and Tyler. Does anyone know why Jay isn't playing this weekend?
No, I just found out 3 days ago that he wasn't.
Yeah, late dropout. Okay, so I guess Webby, it looks like everyone's filled up, so we can just go to fill up our remaining women's doubles and our men's doubles spots.
Right.
So I guess where I want to go with the women's doubles, where I want to go. I want to go with the Kawamoto.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And I'm good with that. So I think that should be our next pick.
Can I ask, Chris, what is it about them that you're so drawn to? I mean, obviously they've had some results, but probably I don't see that they've had the results that would make them kind of like this continue go-to that you seem to have been throughout this whole thing here.
Well, they don't play a ton of tournaments, but then in the limited they've had very good results. They almost beat Simone and Andrea twice last year. I think that was Hilton Head. And they don't jump off the page in terms of their skill sets. Like nothing is, some of the players you can just see. Callie, her power, Lucy's backhand, that kind of stuff jumps off the page. They don't really have that, but they have really good hands. They play really good defense, and they're both you got a lefty-righty combo with Jade is the lefty, Jackie's the righty, I think. And they're just so solid. And I think it's a really, really hard team to play against. And I think they get forgotten about because they don't play a ton of tournaments. And again, they're not big, huge personalities, and they don't have big, fiery games that really lend itself to people going, whoa, what was that?
Okay.
Have we seen Lindsay Newman and Jesse Irvin play together before? I can't remember if we have.
Yeah, they've played a number of times together, I think. They've played a number of times together. I guess when our women's doubles, the women's doubles, that's there's not a ton. I mean, outside of Jesse and Lindsay, you have Elise Jones, Megan Sheehan-Dizon, Lee Whitwell, Georgia Johnson, Anna Bright, Regina Franco, Vivian David, and her sister, I think that's her sister, Abby Brooks.
Yes, that's her sister.
Yeah.
So Jesse and Lindsay is who I have there. They have played together. I'm worried about Lindsay. Just it's tough.
Right.
I don't know it's tough. I assume it's tough. Do you want to go with Jesse and Lindsay then?
I'm good with it. It's like you said, it's a tough call because we don't know what to expect from Lindsay, but if she's gotten back to the like the condition that she's been in the past. It's a very solid choice. Yeah, I'm good with it. I say we go for it.
Yeah, let's lock that in. I think they're the clear number. Like, I think they're the clear 6 team in women's doubles.
Now that you're locked in, I'm going to give a hard disagree that they're the clear number 6 team. I had Anna and Regina ahead, and I actually didn't think it was that close.
Yeah, Lindsay's women's results, I probably overrate her women's results sometimes because she's so strong in mixed, but she just lacks the weapons in women's doubles that
she lacks
that
the weapons more. And Lindsay I just think that team really lacks the weapons, and that it's not a great fit. But we'll see.
I do see that we got the Kyle Salenko stamp of approval. He said Jesse and Lindsay are worth the gamble. So thank you, Kyle, for that reassurance.
Always concerned when you're agreeing with me, Kyle, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
Love it.
Another team that seems interesting to me is Georgia Johnson and Lee Whitwell. What are your thoughts on that matchup?
I think in these fields, there's just not enough weapons in that. Actually, Georgia's got enough weapons. I think Lee just doesn't have the power to keep up, like the counterpunching power. They're a strong team. It's just they're not quite to the level that matches up in this field.
Yeah, I think Georgia is quickly moving herself into the upper echelon of women, but we've seen Georgia and Lee partner a number of times this year and late last year, and their results haven't been great.
And they're mostly at APP events as well.
So I'm going to assume that the Kawamotos are probably your solid next pick.
Well, I think we already went with them.
Took the Cal, yeah.
I think we went with the Kawamotos and then Jesse and Lindsay.
Oh, I didn't put them in there, but I will.
Right.
So you want the Kawamotos before Jesse and Lindsay?
Yeah, I don't think it really matters, but that's how I would see that.
Gotcha.
I think I would see it reverse, but I'm good with it. But you said it doesn't matter, so that's fine. But if it was me, I think I would go with Lindsay and Jesse ahead of the Kawamotos, but that's just me. What do I know?
Oh, it's I don't think it's out of the realm at all.
All right. So we get our last 2 picks here, right? And then you guys get the final one.
Yeah, we need a men's. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we need a men's singles team and a women's singles team, Eddie.
All right. So men's singles, women's singles. Well, why don't we get the easy one out of the way, and that's going to be women's singles. I guess it's not easy, but to me, it's definitely between Lauren and Irina for that 6th spot.
I actually have one more name to toss in there, and that she doesn't play a lot of singles, but it's Jade Kawamoto. I think she has pretty good results in limited singles, and I think there's a little more upside. We've been seeing Irina and Lauren play a lot of singles tournaments and not find the podium, but though I think you can go with either of them as well.
Irina silver last year at the US Open too.
Yeah,
that is true. I would go Irina ahead of Lauren would be my thoughts.
Why don't we? Yeah, I think if you're okay with it, I'd rather us land on Irina than for that spot.
Sounds good. Let's go with Irina.
Okay. And then,
shockingly, I had Jade Kawamoto ahead. So shocking.
As far as men's go, yeah, I mean, I could definitely see Stack Screwed kind of being a wild card, really making his name known to an audience that might not be very familiar with him.
Yeah, I think we really need to I think the pick here is Federico. I think the upside is there in some pretty strong APP men singles fields. He's got a couple silvers here. The other name I actually had him ahead of Sincola as well, is Ryan Sherry. His results have been down a bit lately, but he seems to have been spending a little more time actually working out and on his body and a little less mental preparation, which I think that maybe it had been a little out of whack lately. So I actually am fairly high on Sherry this week, but I think Federico is probably the pick here. The upside is quite large.
I have some inside info. I did just talk to Ryan Sherry 2 days ago, and he did tell me that he hasn't drank in, at that point, it was like 10, 11 days, which is probably like a record for him.
What?
That's got to be a record.
It's got to be
crazy.
Like we might not even recognize him, right? So
I was gonna say that I didn't think 2 weeks of preparation was enough to overcome, but maybe for Ryan, whenever I underestimate and I count out Ryan Sherry, he finds his way back into some kind of almost podium position or somehow getting second at a 65 or 60 team APP field. So who knows?
Right?
Yeah,
I do think the pick here is Fed, but I think Ryan needs a mention as somebody who might be sleeping on because he's been actually putting in the work for the US Open. So
yeah, I agree. I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know what that guy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I don't know actually what a Ryan Sherry who maybe is getting regular sleep and not partying 6 days a week looks like. So that could be scary for the field.
I agree.
Right?
And I do think he's going to surprise people. He's used to this heat, and I think, I mean, the guy can grind too, and I wouldn't count him out, but I do agree. I think the safer bet is Stack Screwed on this one.
I feel like I get a hangover
just
like watching his social media posts.
Hey, Tanner Wallace just said, "Hey, I played with these guys in Punta Gorda."
we did play with Tanner, some rat.
That's cool. Webby and I both have teamed up with him and played tournaments within the last few months.
Yeah, we actually both had success in a 4.0 tournament because of Tanner.
Tanner playing a 4.0 field. I don't know, Tanner.
It was a while ago. We're way behind on our editing, so it was like almost a year ago that this happened. So.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Don't want to call out Tanner too much then.
Yeah.
Hey, before your last pick, Kyle Salenko said, talk about your thoughts on Dawson and Smith. So as you guys are going through it, maybe share what you guys think there.
Yeah, I guess I was going to go through our the men's teams left that we could go with. AJ Thomas being the one that sticks out most to me, but Tyson, we talked about Tyson and Tyler, which are an option. Callan and Spencer are a team that I think they are better separate than together. You got Callan, two guys who, like, Spencer played the left a lot with Tyler last year, but Spencer you just don't have a ton of weapons between Spencer and Callan. Most of the field is going to have a terrible time playing them. They would be very, very difficult to play, especially with that Franklin ball. But I just don't think they have the weapons to create enough upside that you're going to see them fight for be in the podium contention. What do you think, Webby?
Yeah, I agree. So for me, the decision is between AJ and Thomas and Tyson and Tyler. Those are the two teams that I have my eyeball on, but for our last choice.
Yeah, I just leaving AJ and Thomas off would be, I feel like that would be tough. AJ and Thomas did find their way to Championship Sunday this year, and I think it was in Minnesota, but I think they just have a lot of upside. To get them with the last pick seems like a sweet deal.
Yeah, I think I would absolutely be happy with that choice.
So that's not Kyle Salenko approved, I don't think.
So maybe that's a
I think
good thing, because didn't you say that was sometimes a bad thing to get the Kyle Salenko approval?
Well, it was only because he was agreeing with me, so maybe we should be going with Kyle here because that's a disagree with me. It's a web. It's trying to figure this out is too much. But are we going with AJ and Thomas then?
Either that or Tyson and Tyler. I don't. Should we flip a coin, or do you feel a lot better about AJ and Thomas over Tyson and Tyler?
I feel strongly about AJ and Thomas over Tyson and Tyler. I had Pat and Andre over Tyson and Tyler, but
okay.
Yeah, I feel strongly about AJ and Thomas at this spot.
Okay, I say we go AJ and Thomas.
Okay, we'll do it.
I like it. I gotta tell you what, man. There's some great honorable mentions though of teams that I'm excited to see what they're going to be able to do. John St. Cole and Johnny Goldberg, man. I mean, Johnny Goldberg surprises me a lot with his play, and St. Cole is pretty solid too. I could see them going a few rounds, and I could actually see them causing some serious upsets depending on how they're seeded in this tournament.
I'm not as high on them. Johnny's had some good results in the past, but not as much recently. I actually like a team I like that I wouldn't have picked, but is Ben Newell, Chuck Taylor. Chuck Taylor's had some results this year. Ben Newell's been playing those. He played the duper thing last week. I think Ben's actually really good.
Yeah, I would agree. They could surprise some people. I mean, who knows? There could be a lot of upsets. I mean, Wes Gabrielson, Eric Lang. I mean, they've done some things in the past too. And I know that Wes, he used to not be able to play at the US Open because he was a teacher, and this was not a good time for him to get away. Now that he's a full-time in pickleball, it gives him the opportunity. Who knows? I could see him doing something there.
Yeah.
They did.
Also,
they got
probably the nicest team.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, the two nicest guys in pickleball, or two of the nicest guys in pickleball, they have to be. But they beat Riley and didn't they beat Riley and Matt at Nationals last year? Or was it Riley? No, it wasn't Riley and Matt. Was it?
I think it was. They had a really good W. Also, Ryler DeHart and Travis Rettenmeyer playing together this weekend. That's another team I would keep your eyes on.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree with you there.
I mean, these major tournaments, I mean, the fields are so deep. I'm sure we didn't mention a bunch of people. There's, are people that are going to get some wins, and they're gonna surprise some people, especially in that Florida Heat with the Franklin Ball. A different ball game out there. That Florida Heat is no joke.
Yeah, I agree. The one person who I really wanted to be able to actually put here on the bracket is Kyle Yates. I mean, the guy's had crazy success at the US Open. Last year, I know that it didn't work out like the previous years had, but the guy was constantly in the medal stand over and over and over again. And this year, he's playing with Hercilio. Hercilio is a fantastic player, but I just don't see that partnership getting them to where they need to go. You throw him with a Matt Wright like last year, I think they would do some solid stuff. So I'm kind of bummed. I love watching Kyle play. I think that Kyle brings an energy, especially at the US Open with the fan base he has built in there. I would have loved to have seen him with some different partners to help him get there.
Yeah, I agree. With some different partners, I think he would have been somebody to keep an eye out on. We saw when he played with Deckel this year, they beat JW and Dylan, took gold there in Punta Gorda. I think when you put Kyle with the right partner, especially in men's, he can get some real results. But I think he and Hercilio will be in tough this weekend.
Yeah.
And we infamously gave Kyle's MLP team the D grade. It's been mentioned as a D minus, but it was a D grade. So we just want to be clear what the grade was. But Kyle he's honestly he's been playing really well over the past 6+ months, and we noted it in our takeaways when we were talking about Adam Stone's tough year. Kyle's been doing well, but yeah, with Hercilio, it's just not. I don't think it's in the cards for him this weekend there. Who is Kyle playing mixed with? I actually don't know off the top of my head.
I don't think he is. That's the thing. So
he's just got he's just got the one event then for pro.
Yep.
I think he's playing split age with Dave Weinbach, Dane and Riley are playing split age together. I expect we'll see Dave and Kyle actually in that final potentially with Dane and Riley, as long as the seeding isn't. Who knows how the seeding goes? But that's an interesting team. That's bringing the band back together, Dave and Kyle.
Yeah, that's old school right there. And I wish we would have had more time to actually go through some of the pro split brackets, because I think we could have a lot of fun with that too. But I understand that we had to cut it somewhere. So,
and I love that addition to the US Open too. I think that's a very fun event that got added.
I do too, but I wish the pros were able to still play in age. I bet you a lot of like 4-5s and low 5-0s are happy that pros aren't playing in age, but I loved it. And I think that a lot of the people, especially who were going into it with the right expectations, that had the opportunity to go out on the court against a Kyle Yates, they probably liked it too. And so I agree with you, Webby. I like these new events, but I wish it wasn't in place of pros being able to play in the age brackets.
I honestly, I differ. I differ in that area. Like I have opposing opinion. Sorry, I'm a little buzzed right now. I drank a couple of these zombie dusts, and I'm slurring my speech a little bit. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of the players don't appreciate playing with the pros as much as you think they do. Like it's a cool opportunity, but at the same time, like, you're paying all that money for a bracket that you have no chance in. I don't know. I think more people dislike that than they like it.
Yeah. I also thought it came up with some cool partnerships.
With Webby.
Yeah, go ahead, Jared.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think I agree with Webby I think that most people probably prefer having the pros out of those age events, and the split age pro do provide some pretty cool matchups for the fan people to watch. So I like it.
Yeah. Chris, what about you? What do you think?
I think it just doesn't make sense for the pros to play those split age divisions, or sorry, not the split age. I mean, even the split age, some of the players aren't playing because of the low prize money, but the age divisions just don't make sense for them nowadays, especially with so many tournaments. And then US Open, it's a long grind of a week. If you're how much energy they might expend in an age division isn't that much, but you're still on the court in that heat, and then you're not getting any prize money out of that. So I don't think it makes sense for them to do it at this stage where pickleball's at. And where it's getting to.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you guys, but I also love to see some of the partnerships that came out of that too, right? I mean, I remember when Kyle and Anna Lee played together, what was that, 3 years ago in age? That was the last year they did it. They had more people around their courts way in the back than people were trying to watch on center court during the day for a lot of the matches. And so I think that it created these cool, unique partnerships that they wouldn't play normally in the pro brackets, right? And so I do think that I miss that. I miss seeing these like unique relationships. And the pro split age, I think, does help with that. But those are also partnerships that are unique in a weird way, not in a, hey, it's really cool that what's his name? Webby, One Shot. He jumped on the last time when we had them on.
Brian Ashworth.
Brian Ashworth and Kyle Yates playing together, right? They're not going to partner up in men's doubles, but in age they would, and it was fun to watch them. And I kind of miss that a little bit.
I agree with that. I agree. Just it's missing the days of pickleball that were more just, it's not as, I play with one partner the entire year, and that's my partner, and it's less business-like. I think you kind of long for that too.
Yeah, and Eddie, I do agree with you in the aspect. Like, I feel like you and we would absolutely love the opportunity to compete in a tournament against the top pros in our age division. But I feel like a majority of other people that like are in it to try to legitimately win a medal, they probably get pissed off about it. But yeah, like for people like you and I, that would be friggin' awesome to do a tournament and get the chance to play against the best in the whole sport.
Unless you're playing 3-5 singles, right, Eddie?
Exactly. Then I hate that. Or 4-0
Right, yeah.
men's and mixed doubles. I had so many sandbaggers last year. It's not even funny. People that were legitimate 5-0s in 4-0 brackets in mixed and men's and playing pro singles in 3-5 singles. I hate it. Our rating system is broken, obviously, but outside of that, why are you sandbagging to get like, how good are do you feel good when you have a medal 2 or 3 levels below you? Like, are you posting that on Instagram, like, rise and grind people?
Are.
But why? That's so stupid.
Yes, actually.
It's ridiculous. Like,
I 100% agree with you, but
yeah,
I don't understand. But people love their posting their medals. But yeah,
you're right. And then people that have the logic of like, oh, everybody else is sandbagging, so I'll just sandbag too.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's stupid. Don't do that.
And it
it's
really
not
screws
their
it up.
fault the rating system is broken.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to play like 5-0 or pro one week, and then I'm going to play like 3-5 or 4-0 the next. But it's the rating system, not my fault.
Yeah, and I hate that because I like to play up. I always play above my rating, and I like to have good competitive matches. But when I show up in a court and I can't even get one singles point against my opponent because they play pro, it's like, what? That's not fun. Is it fun for them? Probably not. Or maybe they just like to win so much and they don't give a crap about the actual experience of playing the match and the battle. And if that's the case, well, then you know what? Go have fun. I don't care.
Right. Yeah, because if I go by the USA Pickleball rating, I could do 3.0 men's doubles tournaments right now, but I know in my heart that is the absolute wrong thing to do because I've had success at the 4.0 level, so I'm never going to play below that because I know I can compete at that level. So it's I don't know. I guess we're just wired differently that we want to do the right thing on the pickleball court.
Maybe. Well, guys, it is after 10 p.m. our time. I do play singles in like 13 hours. So
Oh, boy.
we're probably going to need to be wrapping this up here. But I got to tell you, this was an absolute blast. I had so much fun going through this with you guys here. I loved your insight. I love how technical you guys get and the thought that you put into it. Obviously, you guys know a lot about these players and the success that they have and what they've won, what they've lost, and it shows in the analytics, and that's awesome. This was quite the experience.
Thanks, Eddie. Not necessarily data people, but we follow the sport closely. But this was a ton of fun. We really appreciate you guys inviting us on. And
thanks for having us on.
Of course.
Yeah,
Webby,
I loved it. I was gonna say I had an absolute blast as well, and like I was telling you guys before the show, like I don't know how you guys can keep up with all these tournaments because you guys still manage to somehow every single big tournament you guys go through and give your picks and do the fantasy drafts and stuff, and it's just crazy because there's so many pro tournaments these days. I don't know how you keep up with it, but I thought tonight was super fun, and I don't know about you, Eddie, but like I would love doing this at least like a few times a year. If you guys are interested, like meet up for some of the biggest tournaments of the year to do this kind of thing. I loved it.
Yeah, we'd be down to do that for sure. And don't ask my girlfriend as well how much time it takes to do all these tournaments because she actually has helped build our website. But the tournaments, she would also wonder how much time it takes for us to do this.
No comment.
Nice. Yeah. I love it, guys. This was a lot of fun. So for people that are interested in following No Man's Land Pickleball, what's the best way? Do you guys post on social media? Is it just to go to your website? Tell everybody how they can find your great stuff.
Yeah, nmlpickleball.com. You can follow us on Instagram, NML Pickleball, Twitter, NML Pickleball. And we have our Facebook page, and you can also add us as friends as NML Pickleball on Facebook. So go to all those spots. The website's the #1 though if you want the content. nmlpickleball.com.
Great stuff. Any final thoughts before we let you guys go here tonight?
Just excited for some US Open Pickleball. Should be a blast.
Yeah, I think it should be good. I'm excited to see some different partnerships at the US Open. So it should be an interesting tournament.
Nice. Well, it'll be live stream every day through Pickleball Channel, except for Championships Saturday. That is going to be through CBS Sports. So definitely tune in, and you'll probably see me popping around back there in the live stream quite a bit, because I will be there pretty much every day. Actually, I'll be there every single day, which will be fun.
Yep, and Eddie is guaranteed to get some screenshots from me. I'll text him some screenshots. Hey, I saw you in the background, because that happens every single year.
Yep, every year. Love it, guys. Well, have a good night. Thanks again. I'm going to send over the results after Webby and I disconnect. And thank you guys again. Really appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys.
All right. See ya. Wow. Webby, I got to say, man, I thought it was going to be fun, and I thought it was going to lead to some awesome conversations. That was better and way more fun than I expected. And I know you were a little kind of hesitant at first about this idea, but did you change your mind at all? Do you feel like this was different than you expected it?
Oh, absolutely. I definitely changed my mind. But yeah, before the show, I told Eddie, like, man, this might be kind of boring. Like, this doesn't sound like something that anybody would be interested in listening to. And maybe I was right about that. But to be honest, like, doing it was fun as hell. Like, I had a great time doing this, and I genuinely would love to do this multiple times a year if it works out, because that was super fun. I've never done any kind of fantasy draft type thing like we did tonight, but that was a friggin' blast.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. If you guys like this, let us know in the comments, because I think it'd be fun to do this maybe before Nationals and some of the other big events that are going on. I think that would be cool if Chris and Jeremy want to do it again. I'd be totally open to it. So
yeah, and to be honest, I'm super excited for this year's US Open, because man, it's stacked. The amount of great teams, like the draws are huge. A lot of great teams. There's a few people missing that we wish weren't missing, but still, there's so many great teams in here that it's going to be very interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited for it. I think we're going to see some surprises. There's going to be a lot of upsets and a lot of people probably throwing up, maybe passing out from the heat, because this week is supposed to be hot and humid. But I like it because I'm used to playing in that. So I love when my opponents are from the north, because I know that I immediately have like a half a point advantage on them. Or, because it's tough, man. This will kill you. That's for sure.
Yeah, you'd be guaranteed a victory if you and I were in the same bracket and I was down there playing, because I would absolutely vomit all over the court, and you would win by default.
That's right. Kyle Salenko says he wants to be in on this next time. 100%, Kyle. We would love to have you.
Do it. Let's do it, Kyle.
Cool. Nice. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We do appreciate it. I know that Webby and I are kind of inconsistent with our live streams. We still don't really even know like what the future of our live productions are going to be, but we have been focusing a lot of efforts on providing fun content out there. I know, Webby, you've been working a lot with Duper lately to get some videos out there about how Duper works and why it's great. I've been really enjoying doing a lot of sizzle reels and different things for pickleball events, and I hope you guys enjoy them as well. But if there's any other content that you want, please let us know. Maybe you like more bad dink readings. Maybe you like more of the, what are they called? The shreds videos, like you did of the Jigsaw.
Yeah, commercial? I recently did a shred of one of the Jigsaw commercials. If you don't know what a shred is, basically you re-record the audio. Like the bad dink readings are like you totally change the audio to sound like something ridiculous. The shred videos are you recreate what's happening on the screen. So like the audio is basically like what the real world audio would be. If you don't know what I'm talking about and it sounds insane, just look up on our channel. We did a video where we shredded a Jigsaw health commercial, and it was so fun to work on, and it cracks me up. I'm the one that worked on it, and it cracks me up every time I watch it, just because that kind of stuff, that's just my sense of humor. I love that kind of thing. I do have a new music video idea in the works where we pretty much just parody something from a different genre and a different sport. But I think it's going to be hilarious, and keep an eye out for that. But yeah, with us not doing the podcast like we used to do regularly, we have a lot of ideas and fun stuff in the works. So stay tuned for that.
That's right. Well, guys, I want to thank you so much for tuning in. This was episode number, 38 of Dinking Around with Eddie and Webby. I can't believe that it's been going on this long. But again, if you guys have any ideas or anything you want us to cover, any topics, just please let us know. We love doing this. and we continue to want to bring you incredible content. And on that note, I'm Eddie.
And until next time, this is Webby, not Eddie, signing off.
See ya.